right, you are listening once again to Geek Vice, where usually something witty is said here, but I've got nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. And speaking of nothing, here's your host, Morph.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Geek Vice, episode number 101. That's right, we're one episode past the 100 mark, and we are proving that every vice with enough geek becomes a virtue. I'm Morph. That guy's Kip. Good evening, Kip. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing really well. How about yourself?
I am doing pretty well. Pretty well. I have, I was listening to a little bit of a Geek and Sundry show on the Twitch channel, but I was watching it past episodes on YouTube called Critical Role, and this is a bunch of voice actors getting together and playing D&D, and this episode, I'm on episode 25, and each episode is 3 hours long, at least 3 hours long, because this is a live recording, basically, of them sitting and playing. But they're voice actors, so each one of their characters has a specific voice, and the DM has a specific voice for each one of the NPCs that he plays. Even if it's just somebody he throws together right off the cuff of like some servant that, they ran into, or some guy they run into on the street, like he has a specific sounding voice for him. So I find it just fun to listen to the voices. He also does all of them do an extremely good job of not metagaming. So they do a really good job of separating what they know, what they know in character and what they know out of character, and not getting those mixed up. So it's a lot of fun to listen to. And man, there was 45 minutes into this episode that I'm listening to now, and I think one of the characters might actually be dying or turning into a vampire. One of the two, and I'm not sure which. But he just got smoked by one guy that I think is a vampire, and one chick that I don't know if she's a vampire or a sorceress. So that was it's pretty crazy. 45 minutes into the show, and they've already almost killed off a person. That's kind of nuts.
That is nuts. When you and I play role-playing games, our DM is usually really nice to us. When we do stupid things that should have been fatal, he bails us out.
Yeah, and this was one. It's crazy watching these guys play, because some of them have never played before. This is their first, their first campaign, basically. But this campaign's been running for a couple of years, so some of them are as new to playing role-playing games as you and I are, and it's kind of fun because they kind of take it as a chance to just go do something crazy. And some of them come up with these ideas. One of the previous episodes, they have a gnome bard, and they were trying to talk to these people and let them into their arcane shop type thing to try to meet with these magic people, and they wouldn't let them in. They were just, they kept trying to bluff their way in, and they couldn't do it. And the guy finally started to, just leave me alone, and went to close the door. And the bard gnome goes, I cast invisibility on myself and walk through the door before he closes it. So now he's there. You see the look on the DM's face, like, okay, here we go. And he's like, okay, you need to roll a stealth check. And luckily the guy made the stealth check. He's like, but the guy there, he's like, oh, well, okay. So just like, oh my goodness, they just do stuff like right off the cuff. And you can tell that they weren't planning, there was no plan to it. They just kind of went with it. And it's entertaining to watch, to say the least.
If you get the right group of people playing any kind of role-playing game, it's a blast. I can't imagine playing with people who are voice actors or actual actors who can really get into character because, you know, when you and I play, we're not
Yeah.
really role players. We're role players with two L's. We like to roll the dice and say, I'm going to stab this guy. And that's about as far as we get.
Yeah, and I'm going to try. I'm actually, I'm going to try to do a little bit better of that in the next game that we do. Just try to, I don't know, not necessarily because I can't do voices to save my life. I mean, I can barely talk as it is.
Yeah, I can't even imitate myself. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I could at least, I'm going to try to do more of trying to think like my character and do things that I think my character would do as opposed to what I would do, and try to think of it that way. And we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Well, I'll keep you guys informed. I'm hoping, and that's one of the comments that I had today, watching Critical Role and also doing some reading of the basic rules for D&D 5th edition. I am getting super stoked to try out a 5th edition campaign. It looks like a lot of fun. It almost looks like they've combined some of the best parts of D&D, some of the best parts from 3 and 3.5, and some of the best parts of 4, and kind of combined them together. And it really feels like a lot of people complain that 4th edition that they weren't listening to the complaints or listening to the praise of the earlier editions. They weren't taking people's voices into account, and I think with 5th edition they might have done that. So it seems simple enough that I can play, but complex enough to keep me on my toes, which I really like. So I want to play. So we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah. You know, the big thing for me is we were playing 3rd ed or 3.5, and then we went to Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got the rules down for the most part about the time we wrapped up the campaign.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling 5th ed's going to be kind of the same way. I'll learn the rules as I go.
Yeah. The nice thing is it seems like these rules, because I mean I jumped in and started playing Pathfinder with you guys after you had already played for a little while, and I had a hard time remembering all the bonuses I need to add, and trying to remember all the different numbers and all the different pieces to make sure I did it right. It seems like D&D's kind of went away from all the extra bonuses and kind of simplified it more. So like your AC is a much simpler number to calculate, and so your to hit bonuses are are simpler to calculate. And instead of getting a bunch of little +2s for different things to try to make it, give you advantages to hit, instead they just say, okay, you either get an advantage or you get a disadvantage. And if you have advantage, then you roll 2 d20s and take the higher number. If you are in a disadvantage, you roll 2 d20s and take the lower number. So instead of having to add a bunch of numbers in, you could just roll, oh, my first time I rolled a 2. Oh, but I have advantage. So the second time I roll it, oh, I get an 18. Like, that's way better than just adding 2 because you're in this position. It's like that nickel and diming type thing that I felt we were doing a lot in Pathfinder. I think they've kind of gone away from. So
that's good, because I don't know how many times something would be adding a bonus or subtracting a bonus, and I'd roll my dice and completely forget to add or subtract that bonus. And even though we had cards and everything saying, hey, +1 for this or -1 for that, still forget.
Yeah. And the same thing with like the two-handed weapons, and you attack with, I still don't understand how that was calculated. Like with your first attack, it's this bonus, and then the second attack is less of a bonus, but still some bonus, and then your third and I'm like, oh shit, I can't keep track of all this.
I'm supposed to be playing a game, not doing a math quiz.
Yeah, exactly. But so the other thing that I want to throw out there before we get into your topic, because your topic kind of rolls into our main topic, is this last weekend. I don't know. Did you watch any sports this last weekend?
I live in Kansas City, and it's hard not to at this point in time.
Man, Friday night, we get a big win by the Kansas City Royals in Game 6 of the ALCS to make it to the World Series. And then on Sunday, the Chiefs get a big win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, you know, most people are like, well, whatever, not that big of a win. No, it was a huge win for us. It was win number 2.
Yeah, my wife is in mass depression over that, being a huge Steelers fan. As she is.
That's right. Oh, I wish she wasn't in bed right now. I'd make fun of her. But and then on top of that, we had on Sunday evening, the Sporting Kansas City, the local boys, they won in the final game of the regular season to clinch a spot to the playoffs. Nothing like waiting to the last second to clinch their playoff spot. So they have made the MLS playoffs and are now on the path to the MLS Cup.
That is cool. I have a confession on the Royals clinching the World Series bid.
Yeah.
I watched part of it, and then when the rain delay kicked in, I turned on my PlayStation and was playing Advanced Warfare. And then all of a sudden I heard fireworks going off in my neighborhood. It's like, oh, I guess the Royals won, and then turned it off and turned the TV back on.
Well, here's my confession for you. We listened to up to the rain delay out in the driveway with the fire pit, and neighbors were all together, and we're sitting in there, and then it started raining. We're like, all right, it's time to call it a night. And so I came in the house and got the kids to bed, and Amber went and laid down, and she fell asleep real quick because we'd had a busy day. And then I came in and turned on the TV and turned on the computer and started playing Hearthstone while I was watching the Royals game. So I was playing some Hearthstone, getting my ass beat like 4 times in a row.
Man, Hearthstone kicks the people I play against. Their cards are unfair. It's just ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah,
but it's fun. It's addicting. But man, I get my butt kicked a lot.
And sometimes it's like they don't like. I have this. I played a couple of matches with the same deck that I use, which is a pretty basic mage deck. I'm just using standard decks. I don't even have a custom one. And they have the same cards. Like, they're playing cards that I have. I just I wasn't getting them. I'm like, God, this is frustrating because I have that card and I could have played that and won. And then I make stupid mistakes too. So
yeah, same here.
It's really only my fault.
Yeah.
So what do you got here? TVs or movies-based board games?
Yeah, our main topic tonight is movies that have been turned into TV shows, and it got me thinking, well, what games do I like that are based on either a movie or a TV show? And I thought, well, I need to talk about this because my all-time favorite board game is based on a TV show, and that's Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
That is by far my favorite game.
I do like that one.
And if you've never played it, basically it's a cooperative game with a twist. Some people could be Cylons. Some people may not be Cylons. You have to kind of figure it out as the game goes on. And even though it's turn-based, you're trying to figure out who's on the wrong side of the Cylon human thing. So even though it's not your turn, there is still something to keep your attention because you got to pay attention to what everybody else is doing, see who's played what cards, blah, blah, blah. And you get to accuse everybody around the table and call each other toasters and all this stuff. It's just a good social game as well. So that is my all-time favorite, Battlestar Galactica. And another game I really like based on a television show as well is Firefly.
And I haven't played Firefly yet. You guys were playing that one time when I came over after work, but it seemed kind of long, but it seems similar to Battlestar.
Well, no, not really.
No?
It is a long game. It does take a very long time, and the more people that are playing, the longer it takes. But basically, there's these cards, and you pick one, and it gives you objectives that you have to meet to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not cooperative. You're actually working against each other. And it's a pickup and delivery system. You will have to go to this system, pick some either cargo or people up, and take it to this system, get paid for it. There's reavers, so you could end up getting basically hijacked by the reavers and lose everything. There's the law flying around that if you've got anybody that's wanted or you're doing something illegal, they can board your ship and you could lose everything on that. Or it's just a fun little game. Movement is based on cards. Mm-hmm. and the engines you have on your ship. So I think the base engine allows you to move 5 spaces. You can choose to just mosey, which means you just move 1 space. You don't draw a card. But if you choose to use your full movement, each space you move, you have to draw a card for the space that you're in. So if you're in the outer reaches, you draw the red cards, which is where reavers can get to you. If you're in the inner reaches of it, you have the blue cards, which is you don't have to worry about the reavers, but you do have to worry about the authority. And cards may say, keep flying, which means nothing happens. You just move to the next space. Some of them pop up and say this, and this are happening to you, and you got skill checks or whatever you have to accomplish. And if you don't, it says full stop, and then your turn's over, and you could be out in the middle of nowhere, and you got to wait for your turn to get going again and things like that. It's just a fun little game, especially for people who watched the TV show and the Serenity movie, so you know the characters and things like that. It's just a plain old good game. We'll have to get you playing sometime when we get that to the table.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do that. Sounds like fun. It sounds like a kind of game that I like. So we'll have to give that one a shot.
Absolutely. There's many other games that I like. Believe it or not, I have a Buffy the Vampire Slayer game that's just pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. And
this will crack you up. I've got a game from the 80s, Miami Vice.
Oh, nice.
And it's you look at it, it's got Don Johnson on the cover. They're leaning up against the Ferrari, all this other stuff. Total 80 cheese. But the game is actually a cat and mouse game. You're either the bad guys or the cops. And you have secret destination and things like that the bad guys have got to get to, and the cops have to figure out where they're trying to go and beat them to it to arrest them or whatever. And basically you roll die and you move that many spaces, but you've got like 8 cars. So you can send cars off in every direction on the board. It's a map of Miami, and try to distract the cops, make them think you're going one way when you're going another. It's a nice little cat and mouse game. It's called Miami Vice, which I think throws a lot of people off, but it's actually a fun little game. And you can play cheesy 80s music while you're playing if you wanted to. So,
which would be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. You wear shoes with no socks, whatever you do to get into character.
Yeah. There you go. No, that sounds like fun. Maybe we'll have to have a gaming night just of board games from TV shows.
I like this idea. Maybe we'll even have to record it or something.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for good board games that are based on TV shows or movies, Highly recommend Battlestar Galactica, Firefly, or Miami Vice. And if you really like the show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a lot of fun as well.
There you go.
There it is. Go. I did it. I talked to board games.
That's right, everybody. Go buy board games.
Make Kip happy.
That's right. Hey, Ish, yes, we both have Hearthstone. We have both played Hearthstone. However, we have not played together. So yeah, look us up. Kip, are you still Kip Killigan on BattleNet?
I am Kip Killigan, KIPKILLAGIN.
And I believe I am Morpheus with some numbers at the end of my name.
Well, that helps.
So,
yeah, so if you want to get a lot of victories, friend me and play me, you'll get a lot of victories.
Yeah, I think I am Morpheus 80 11 28. I believe I had to put all those numbers at the end of my gamer thing in order to be a unique gamer tag. Apparently people like to be Morpheus.
Who doesn't really?
The problem is the people who normally take the name Morpheus, they don't actually know what Morpheus is. They take it for some stupid reason. They don't actually know that it's a god, and the god of sleep, like the Sandman.
No, he's the guy on The Matrix.
Well, there's that too. Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, who doesn't want to be Lawrence Fishburne? And speaking of The Matrix, which really has nothing to do with The Matrix, is a terrible tie-in. Recently, I guess with this first season, in this new TV season that started this fall, we had a couple of new TV shows start that were in canon sequels to a movie that has been previously released. Limitless, which the movie had Bradley Cooper in it, and Minority Report, which everyone knows from Tom Cruise. Both of those TV shows kind of got started this season, and I've watched both of the premieres. I've only watched the premiere for both of them, the pilot episode for both of them. And I'll have to say, Minority Report, I'm not sure that I want to keep watching. It was okay, but I guess it kind of fit with the movie itself. The movie I thought was okay. That wasn't one of my favorite movies. But so I kind of feel like that one's going to have a hard time keeping people interested. It's a lot of mystery and secret inside somebody's head, limited information that just kind of gets annoying rather than helpful. So I'm curious to see how it works out and where they go with it. But I'm not sure that it's one that I'm going to keep watching. I'm not going to be watching regularly. I might just wait till it's done and then binge watch it. Limitless, however, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that one. I like the idea of somebody is just flat out smarter than everyone else. I like that idea. I usually like it when they put that into a TV show, and as long as it's done right, similar to The Blacklist with James Spader, I mean, that guy is smarter than everybody else. He's already 3 steps ahead. So as long as they write it correctly, then I think it can stay entertaining. And I think Limitless can do that, along with kind of this covert espionage thing that they kind of had with a cameo by Bradley Cooper in the pilot episode. So that one I think is fun, but it got me thinking. It's like, what other TV shows have they created off of movies, and were they any good?
Well, what's funny about that is once you brought up that topic, I got to thinking about it, and like the first thing I thought of was a movie that was turned into a cartoon, which was Ghostbusters, and the cartoon was the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed the heck out of that cartoon.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even go with, in that same line, you could go with Transformers. Transformers, although I guess,
It was a TV show first, wasn't
yeah,
it?
I think it was. Hold on, let me grab that box. You could tell me what year it came out.
Oh, he has to refer to his reference material.
No, 1986 was season 1 on the TV show. And the original movie came out in 1985.
Oh, there you have it.
So it did beat it by a year. But I don't know that really, the TV show didn't really follow canon. You know, the TV show for Transformers really didn't, it didn't pick up where the movie left off, because the TV show still had Optimus Prime in it, and in the movie Optimus Prime died. So I guess that really can't even be classified in the same sense. I mean, Limitless and Minority Report are specifically sequels. They are continuations of the story, either like immediately, or in the sense of Minority Report, it's many years later, after the movie's over and pre-crime's been dissolved. I can't remember if did Buffy kind of follow that same stance? Did Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show take up right after the movie ended, or did it just kind of take the same characters?
I think it was more of a reboot.
Yeah. See, and I think
the TV show started where she first got to Sunnyvale, or whatever the hell it's called. And I think that's how the movie started as well.
Okay. Could be. I don't know. I didn't watch that TV show. But, you know, so I was thinking about this, and then I started looking at some news articles about some upcoming TV shows that are being talked about. I'd love to get your take on these. First one being Lethal Weapon.
Bad idea. Can I just say, can it just be good idea, bad idea? That's
Sure.
a bad idea.
Sure. Fox is, well, I guess, let's see here. Yeah, it's Fox is the one that has reportedly ordered a pilot for Lethal Weapon. It is going to be written, I guess, written and produced by Matt Miller, who has done shows like Las Vegas, Human Target, and Chuck.
I liked Chuck, so maybe he'll be onto something.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's no word on it, since they're just now looking for. Just starting, the pilot idea. Obviously, we're probably quite a ways away before we're going to see anything out of it, or hear anything on what's going to happen. But I'm kind of curious on where do you think they could go with this? If they tried to go with the sequel, they'd have to do something where you don't have Riggs and Murtaugh in it anymore. Because I don't know, can Danny Glover and Mel Gibson come back for a TV show? I mean,
I don't know. To me, I think something like that. It's been so long that I think it would have to be a reboot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And but then on the same side of it, could you really have? I mean, can you have a Lethal Weapon movie or TV show without Murtaugh and Riggs?
I don't know. Maybe it'll be like their sons or something. Even though I think Riggs only had daughters, didn't he? Danny Glover's character, he only had daughters, I think.
No, he had a son.
Did he?
Yeah. Murtaugh had one son, but then I don't know, did Riggs have it? I know they had a kid at the end of one of them, but I don't remember if it was I think that was a girl. But I guess he could have one off, in between the times. Who knows? Who knows? But I kind of agree with you. I think that's a bad idea. Bad idea. The other one that came up was from HBO, and they're looking to adapt Watchmen.
Now, see, to me, that is a good idea. I'm going to go ahead and go on the record saying that's a good idea. And the reason I think so is superheroes can always be a week-to-week episodic thing.
Yeah. I think you're right there. They are in talks with Zack Snyder to have a part of it, and Zack Snyder obviously helmed the movie Watchmen, and also the Man of Steel. But I'm curious to see where they go with this. They could, if they go with a sequel, then they are gonna go with brand new territory. There are no comic books that take place that are post Watchmen. There are, however, comic books that are pre-Watchmen. They put out in, I think it was, what was it, 2012, I believe. They put out some prequel miniseries called Before Watchmen, and that had a little bit about each. I think it was like a 3 issue for each character. I think 3 or 4 issues for each character. So 3 issues kind of talking about Dr. Manhattan before he became Dr. Manhattan, before Night Owl became Night Owl, that kind of thing, kind of giving you more of a backstory on these characters. So they could do something in that sense.
Yeah.
Maybe do a prequel.
Either way, I mean, it's like you said, it's wide open. There's no ground covered by a comic book or anything. It's free reign. So I'd love to see where they would go.
Yeah, and it is HBO. So I mean, HBO, they've at least been successful in converting a few books or a book in Game of Thrones into a TV show. That's worked out really well for them. So maybe they could do something with this.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more a prequel could be kind of in the vein of like Gotham is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm liking this idea more and more.
Yeah, it's and again, this one is one where they're just in talks of it. It's a long ways off before anything, but we'll have to. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye.
If they need any ideas, they can just email us at geekvice@gmail.com. I'll give them all sorts of ideas.
That's right. Hey, maybe they can tap us. We can be writers for it.
That's right.
I don't know.
Because we've got such an extensive background in writing.
Yeah. Yeah. I got nothing. So let's see what wrong page. Oh shit! What happened?
He's lost.
Yeah, stuff got all kinds of crazy. What the hell just happened here?
Must be Windows 10.
I opened up something and it didn't like what I opened up. Oh, there we go. God damn it. I suck at using Windows Edge. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I apparently dragged a window outside of where it needs to be, and then it made my screen go really big, and I couldn't see anything anymore. So everything disappeared, and I couldn't see what the hell was going on, and so I was left in no man's land. So, while I was looking at all this stuff, I mean, are there any? I guess my question for you there, Kip, is there any movie out there now or that you've seen recently where you would like to see them bring it to TV to keep it going if they can't make another movie? Or a movie that you've seen recently that you think would do better in a TV format?
Dang, that is a good question. I wish you would ask me this earlier today so I could think about it.
I just thought of the question right now. Otherwise, I would have.
Because we're this good at podcasting. That's the way. You know, there's a little independent comedy called What We Do in the Shadows
Mm-hmm.
that was a great little movie. You walked out. Every time I see the movie, I end up wanting more. I think it would be a good comedy episodic comedy.
Yeah.
Probably more in the vein of what British comedy would be. You know, maybe only 6 or 8 episodes a year, because I think you could run that well pretty dry pretty quick. But I think that would be a fun TV show.
Seeing that, that's actually a really good idea. Kind of fit that sitcom type role. Maybe 30-minute episodes instead of hour-long episodes.
Yeah, because basically it's about vampires who share a flat, I think in New Zealand, and they allowed a documentary film crew to follow them around. I think, if they made it almost like a Big Brother kind of thing with those same characters, it would be freaking hilarious, I think.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Especially if they start making fun of Big Brother. That'd be great.
Yeah, well, that show makes fun of itself, but yeah, something like that I think would be fabulous.
Oh, that's a great idea. Very good, very good.
Plus, it kind of ties in with the fact that Halloween's just around the corner.
That's right. You getting excited for Halloween? You got your house all decorated?
I do. You see my apothecary right there.
There you go.
Yeah. So, we're having our board game extravaganza this Friday.
Oh, that's right. I got to talk to the boss about that one.
Yeah, we probably will play a couple of horror-themed board games before we decide these take too long. Let's play something else. Because Arkham Horror takes like 5 hours. I can't see my group dedicating that much time into one board game, but you never know.
Yeah. That is kind of long. I usually burn off about 2 or 3.
Yeah. Battlestar takes about 3 hours, and it's a lot of fun, but when the 3 hours is up, you're like, yay, it's over.
Yeah, and you're pretty much spent at the end of the 3 hours too.
Exactly.
Like the marathon board gaming session is pretty much over once that one's done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. While I was out perusing for TV topics for today, I ran across this one, and it struck my fancy when the title said network geeks have been waiting for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Con TV, that's CON TV, is kind of like Netflix or Hulu, but it's aimed at the nerdy side of pop culture. So right now it's got Saturday morning cartoons from the time when at least I was a kid. Stuff like She-Ra and Legend of Zelda. But then it's also doing some original programming on coverage like the Wizard World conventions that happen in some of the different cities. They're also doing some original content, which is one of them is a crowdsourced funded TV series called Riftwood Chronicles, which is a sci-fi and fantasy adventure that was actually funded by Kickstarter. But it's kind of yes, ish. I can use words like perusing. It was on my word of the day calendar. Don't be too impressed.
Well, I've had more than one syllable threw her off that we could say something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of looked at this thing. I did a little bit of looking at it, but I didn't have Con TV is subscription based, just like Netflix. So it's like $7 a month to become a VIP and get the shows for free, or get the shows ad free. Takes the ads off of them. I believe there you can watch some of the stuff on through their website and see the stuff with ads, like basically commercials, kind of like Hulu puts in their stuff, and that stuff I believe is free. This is something that I kind of want to look into, and it's on my list of things to go through, because it'd be kind of cool to see some of, there's always these panels that you hear about at different conventions that that sound really kind of cool, but you can't make it to that convention. There's a chance that panel could show up on this website. But then also getting to just watch some of the old cartoons, some of the, you might actually be able to find the real Ghostbusters on here. That sounds like something perfect right down this alley, or even He-Man. Who doesn't want to watch He-Man?
Well, I can think of somebody, but I just went to contv.com.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same thing.
Really?
Well, maybe it is, but it's showing a bunch of movies. Oh, there we go. Yep, here we go.
Did you find it?
Cosplay Live, interview with Stephen Amell, Brandon Routh.
There you go.
Yep. And then there's a lot of horror movies.
I wonder if that's a theme for this month or this time period.
Probably. Like Mind Flesh.
Yeah. One of the shows that I saw on here was called Mythica, and it starring Melanie Stone and Kevin Sorbo.
Wow.
Hercules, man.
That must have been taken straight from the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it too. Definitely a Dungeons and Dragons type feel to it. So I don't know. Maybe hopefully it'll be better than the made-for-TV movies that have been Dungeons and Dragons based before.
Yeah. Well,
or maybe you can watch the cartoon.
Yeah. They also have proper, such fabulous programming as Zombie Stripper. So.
Well, they got that going for them, which is nice.
Playgirls and the Vampire. Bikini Girls on Ice. So.
Maybe this really isn't something that we should be checking out.
Hey, this looks like it's right down my alley.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just saw it on there, and I thought the idea was kind of cool.
Oh, I love the idea, yeah. Because as much as we would like to go to conventions, it's pretty hard to go to all of them, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Sweet. Oh, and then there's a Hearthstone ad down at the bottom. I wonder if they read the fact that I play that game.
Nah, I doubt it. I doubt it. So you got anything else for us tonight there, Kip?
Other than Isabel seems to be very happy about Kevin Sorbo in another movie, I got not much.
All right, everybody, go check us out on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can also follow us on Google Plus and Facebook, mainly Facebook. Go search for Geek Vice. Go like our page. More likes we get, the better attention we can get. Also, and
the more stats we get, and I'm a big stats whore, so
yeah, that's right. Also, go download. You can also download our episode or listen to it through Stitcher Radio or iTunes, wherever you like getting your podcast from. You can go find it there. You can also find us on YouTube. But please, like or thumb up or whatever you want to call it on those things. And leave us a comment. Give us some either praise or criticism, either one. I don't care. Just write something on there so that we have something. Because it's kind of feel bad if I kind of review my own show.
2 thumbs up from Morph.
You can also follow us on Twitter. That guy over there is at Kip Killigan. I'm at Geek Vice. We post a few things and retweet a few things. We'll probably be posting a lot of Royals stuff, or at least I will be retweeting our good friend Christy, Angel Chris, because she loves watching the Royals.
She's a big fan.
That's right.
And
Appreciate everybody.
I'm Kip Killigan on Hearthstone.
That's right. You can find me on Steam. You can find me on Battle.net. And you can also find me on Uplay. I've got Uplay. That's Ubisoft's.
For that.
Yeah, that's Ubisoft's little gaming thing. So if you want to play Ubisoft games, you have to have that. And I'm very tempted to get the new Assassin's Creed game for my computer. So
there you have it.
Yeah. But thanks, everybody, for listening to our ramblings. If you want to comment on any of our topics or suggest a topic for a future episode, you can email us at geekvice@gmail.com. Next week, I think we're going to do we might do a tech and video games segment next week. So I don't know. We're starting November here next week. It's crazy. We're already in November.
You know, time flies when you're having fun.
That's right.
As one of my friends say, fun flies when you're doing time.
There you go, everybody. That's a great way to end this episode. We'll see you next week.
Laters.